Hi. Sorry I haven't put anything up for a couple of days. The three of you that watched the last video probably didn't even notice. So, back to work, the real world. Not going too bad actually. Been day off today. Got the place cleaned. Look, there's some evidence of cleanliness all around the flat. So if you could smell the bleach, you'd be able to tell, but you can't, so you wouldn't. So, tonight's the night that we start filming the improv mock-drama Made in Pompey. So I'm really looking forward to that. There's probably about 6 or 7 people coming, which is really quite good. Probably enough for us to split into 2 groups, use both cameras, and just shoot some stuff and hopefully be able to use it. I'm really quite excited about that, and really looking forward to that. In the real world, in the serious world, what you might call real, there's serious stuff going on at the moment about News Corp. Have the company owned by Rupert Murdoch have decided not to try and buy the remaining that they don't already own in B Sky B. This is kind of like because of the furore about how just downright unscrupulous the journalists were for the news of the world. Now, I don't believe for a minute that they're the only journalists that have behaved like that. Perhaps there are quite a few, but some of the things have been absolutely disgusting, and I don't know. I really wanted to comment on that. It's, the freedom of the press and the freedom of the media is really an important thing in a functioning democracy, and it's really a key thing in our country. Our press have quite a bad reputation compared to the rest of the world of being, to be honest, quite ruthless bastards. And quite deservedly so, if this is the sort of thing that they've been doing, hacking into the mobile phones of young girls that have been murdered, so that their families think that they're still alive because they're deleting their messages. It's absolutely disgraceful, and apart from the reputation for any form of media corporation or any news corporation, it's just absolutely immoral. As a parent myself, I don't really know how I'd react, but I don't think it would be a rational way. But I don't, you just can't even begin to comprehend how awful that would be and how horrible that would feel to actually discover that all these years later now anyway. Awful. The political parties are, to be honest, fighting over each other to try and see whose government it was going on under, whereas they've all really kind of like been as dirty as each other in getting into bed with the newspapers. It's been quite an obvious thing in the last 20 years that whoever needed to actually win a general election in the UK needed to actually win the backing of the red top newspapers, papers like the Sun and the News of the World, which are owned by News Corporation. And I don't quite feel comfortable with the idea that Rupert Murdoch, who actually doesn't live in this country, and probably spends a vast amount of his time trying to get away with not paying the taxes that he probably should pay in this country, gets to decide who the next Prime Minister is of our country. I don't think it's probably any better in other countries in the world. There's probably corruption wherever you look. It's disgusting to find out that in the original investigation into the phone hacking scandal, that the journalists were actually hacking into the phones of the police that were actually investigating them. It's the stuff of fiction, really, isn't it? It's the stuff that if you made it up, no one would believe. It's the stuff that if you put that into a plot, no one would think. No one would say, "Oh, that's too fanciful." No journalist would even consider doing that. and no politician or police officers worth their salt would actually do that. Well, do you know what? All of those things happened. Truth is really a great deal stranger than fiction, and the lows to which humanity or certain human beings are willing to stoop to are a great deal lower than perhaps the rest of us would contemplate or even think of. In a world where everybody puts so much about themselves out there in the public domain, you kind of really question what is the point in hacking into people's information anyway. But obviously there are things that we all, most people have the common sense to not put on the internet. But it's just really quite appalling. Really, really rather worrying. Anyway, on a lighter and considerably less serious note, I now have a nice clean flat that smells reassuringly of bleach. Don't ask me why, but that just makes it feel cleaner anyway. And but I haven't just kind of like sprayed bleach around in small quantities to make it smell like bleach. I have actually cleaned the flat. You can see that, right? Yeah, you can kind of like see that that kind of like over here that the carpet isn't full of kitten fluff, isn't full of bits from the cat tree that seems to molt more than the kittens do. Another good thing was I got to catch up with my uncle last night. He popped round out the blue to my parents, and they called me round to say hi. So that was a nice evening. Shared in a very nice bottle of wine that he brought round, and talking to the wee small hours, which was okay for me because I was off today. Probably not so much for my mum, my dad, and my uncle, but yeah, it was really nice. A shame, really, that again in a world with so many different ways to communicate and to get in touch with people that we don't actually really talk. He only lives now about half a mile away. What does that say about me? What does that say about us as a family that we don't talk or listen? Is anybody else's family any different? My dad knows what I'm up to usually because he looks at Facebook, but I think that's kind of probably his only reason for being on there, and also to share photos with his grandkids and things like that. But and to keep in touch with his sister who lives in Australia. But it's you're always putting these things off till tomorrow, aren't you? And you're always saying, "Oh well, we can do that another day." Or it's not quite convenient, but tomorrow never really comes, does it? And you don't know what's around the corner. Maybe we just take too many things for granted, but I just find it deeply ironic and sad that people can contact me by email, by text message, by mobile phone, by landline, by Skype, by Facebook, by Twitter, and indeed I can contact them. That's also the important thing. It's not about them contacting me, it's also about me putting my arse in gear and contacting them, but still I don't. And what I don't think that says a very nice thing about me. I don't think that says very nice things about me at all. And that's worth reflecting on. So upon it I shall reflect.